Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Never Words podcast. I'm your host, Tom Brown. I am joined by my brother, Jack. We are here to talk some baseball. We might get to some Patriots at the end. We might. Depends. Ooh, my earbud almost fell out. Sorry for my quick
Real tease.
reactions. For those watching, for those listening, you didn't see a thing. And this is not making sense to you. Jack, the Red Sox had a bad May. They went 11 and
Yeah.
17. They fell from second place in uh, within reach of catching the Yankees to now being like, okay, wild card or bust.
Yeah, I heard last night or yesterday I was listening to the game on the radio and they were talking about that they're 9 games back of the Yankees.
9.
So that's a tough one to swallow, June 2nd. Um,
Happy birthday, Patrick
but
here.
there you go. I just I don't listen, Tom. I don't know why anybody would
Oh,
be
it's bubbling.
surprised at how this team has played April and May,
It's boiling.
that they're 29 and 32, right? Everybody seemingly fell for the big Nesson sales pitch of this is a contender. But Jen McCaffrey, who just, if you're not paying attention, she's probably the best Boston beat writer there is. She wrote an article today saying, as well as Craig Breslow did, filling gaps and filling holes, he completely neglected serious spots that if one injury happened, there was no solution. And his only solution, I guess, is let's just ask Devers to do it, which is, I mean, they're paper thin in terms of major league ready guys that can fill holes. Their bench is not big. I mean, you can see that by the games. I get that he hits lefties well. Rob Refsnyder should never be your four hitter. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I like Refsnyder a lot. He's a great utility outfielder, but he's not a four hitter on a team that's contending for a playoff spot.
And, you know, he's also not a 3 hitter, which I think he is tonight. Which goes to what you're saying. Now, I mean, the lineup looks good until, like you mentioned, like Jen McCaffrey was mentioning, you lose the guy, you lose the big signing for a period of time. And now all of a sudden you're like, ooh, this lineup is not long. This lineup ends at the 2 hole
Mm-hmm.
because Wilyer Abreu's been slumping. Christian
Big
Campbell's
time
been
slump.
slumping.
Statistically, the worst player in May, Christian Campbell.
Yeah, you
According
gotta
to
wonder.
Fangraphs War, the worst player in May was Christian Campbell, and the fourth worst was his double play partner, Trevor Story.
Yeah. So I think Merloni said this a couple weeks ago, or weeks ago. I don't know. He's like, you know, maybe it's time for Christian Campbell to go to Worcester and see himself crush pitching to get some confidence back. What I mean, you're 9 games back from the Yankees. Why does it hurt you? And also, if he's struggling and has a terrible defensive run saved situation at second base, I think he's like -6 or -8 in May or just in general now. Stop trying to teach him a brand new position.
Oh,
Like,
man.
great, great on him for him saying, yeah, I'll do whatever the team needs. It's because he's a young kid and a rookie. Go sign a veteran first baseman.
Seriously, or make a move. You have a deep farm system. Make a move. Bring in
So
a major league first baseman. Because at this point, Tom, it's been 3 straight years of season-ending Casas injuries or season-altering Casas injuries. You can't really count on him to be there
no,
next year. You have to get a first baseman. And again, I don't like to call out players one by one. I think it's mean and I think it's negative, and I don't think I can play their position any better. But Romy Gonzalez, Christian Campbell, Nick Sogard are not first basemen. They made the major leagues for being infielders. Just because first base is in the infield doesn't mean anybody can pick it up.
Yeah, and I mean, here we are, classic Red Sox cycle, year two of Breslow, and it's starting to get old a little bit. Um, just, what I don't get is Costas got hurt last year and they signed Dom Smith. Dom Smith is a first baseman. Dom Smith was fine. He was probably a
Played
little below
defensively, played
average.
first baseman. Yeah, but
That's what I mean.
defensively he played first base.
That's what I'm saying. And you signed Yasmani Grandal to a minor league deal. Why why are you, like Romy Gonzalez missed 25 games is playing first base tonight. I don't get the philosophy of I mean, I think it goes back to Bloom a little bit too, where it's just like we want guys that will just play a bunch of different positions. We've talked about this before. I mean, this was the Kike Hernandez thing that drove us nuts. He played shortstop and he was awful, but he could play shortstop, but he was awful. So it it's so old to me to do they signed this guy, he can give you four positions. Christian Campbell can play center field and second base, and they want him to play first base. Cedane Rafaela can play center field and shortstop. You know what? Keep Campbell at second, keep Rafaela in center, and just sign the super utility guy. I mean, a guy we neither of us really liked that much, but the Brock Holtz of the world were great when he was filling in once a day
Yep. Yep.
or once a week, twice a
Hmm.
week. It was like, okay, today was a scheduled day off for Dustin Pedroia at second base, put Brock Holt there. Today was a scheduled day off for Bogarts
Middlebrooks.
or
Yeah.
Middlebrooks. Yeah, couldn't think of the third baseman because it changed so much. Put him there. I just don't understand this. This is just real thorn in your side. The
Hmm.
everyday a different lineup.
Don't understand it. 1, 2, 3. Duran, Devers, Bregman was your consistency. And then Casas started slow, so they started fucking with the four spot. Then Willier started hot, so you moved him up. Story got hot, you moved him up. They both cooled off. You moved Campbell up, he cooled off. Like, I think Cora tries too hard. Because he last year he became, or 2 years ago, maybe with the last year with Bloom, when it became clear they were going to get rid of Bloom, he started to speak out and say, "I'm using the roster that I have." Like, there have been times he has straight up mismanaged his starting pitcher and bullpen. It was on full display in May. And I know we're not at the pitching part of it yet, but for all the reasons I just listed, the Sogards, the Christian Campbells, the Romy Gonzalez's, um, who else was playing there? Who else am I trying? Yeah, it's Sogard. And now you're having Campbell take ground balls over there. Like, that's so dumb. And it's so counterproductive to not find a guy who can play major league first base on a bad team and say, here's a couple of good minor league baseball players who will eventually make your club.
You know
Like,
what, Jack? They don't have to do it because there was a guy who started first base in the World Series last year for the New York Yankees every game that is a free agent that could just be signed in Anthony Rizzo. That's a
so
first baseman
yeah,
and
I
a
don't get
veteran.
it, Tom. I don't get it. I don't know
He is
why
a
they don't
World
just go.
Series winning all-star gold glove first baseman that you can get at, you know,
Probably be getting
I
that a
don't know,
number
does
at a
Major
real
League Baseball
number.
have a league minimum, but you could just sign
Of
him for a
course.
couple $1 million?
Yeah, I mean, he's got
I
300 career homers. I mean,
oh,
why not? Why not give him a shot?
what just sign
He's
him.
30,
He
he's
takes
35, but yeah, get him out there.
say he's 35 and then you figure out the first base position after this year because if it's easy to say, and I would be someone that will, come next spring training might say it. Casas's two major injuries were flukes. If, the rib thing was weird, never done. And then if whoever the starting pitcher was that day fields that ball cleanly, Casas slows down halfway down the line. Um, but he hasn't been there. He's odd, which doesn't bother me, but he was also not producing. So I don't see why you can't. You're you you're replacing a left-handed hitter with a left-handed hitter. We know the problem is right-handed hitting, especially now with Bregman hurt.
Bregman.
I
Yep.
don't just throw a couple $1,000,000 at him,
Yeah,
which
I don't
leads to the
understand.
next blotch, next little dash on our rundown. It is you look at this from 10,000 feet. The roster's got to you got to change it. It's just not working. I don't care how many times you try and tell me that Trevor Story hosts a camp
Yeah.
or he's a clubhouse guy or this or that. You're blocking, and now Marcelo Mayer's getting playing time because Bregman's hurt, but you're blocking a top prospect in baseball with a guy who, as you said, was statistically the second worst, according to
Fourth.
Fangraphs WAR,
Or yeah, fourth worst, but still very bad.
fourth worst, um, in the month of May. And then what are we doing here with Roman Anthony?
Yeah, well, they're manipulating his service time, Tom, is
But
what they're doing.
it's past that.
It's
Now,
past that now. Now it's past that.
oh,
So
there was an extra June 1st thing.
yes. And now it's past that. So
So
they,
that's why Stats Masterson said you'd see him in 2 weeks.
yep. And then you
Oh,
have the main thinking is he's going to be up for the Yankee series this weekend.
great, great. Make it even harder on him. Instead of
So,
a
well, Tom, I mean,
team that
listen,
hasn't made the playoffs for a decade, do it
I
against your
have,
your rival.
well, the team that hasn't made the playoffs for a decade is really kicking their ass right now.
Right, I know.
But uh I I want Roman Anthony to play. He is not a one and done solution. Roman Anthony is not going to play first. I actually don't know where in the field he's going to play because all three outfield spots are arguably your three most valuable players. Ceddanne Rafaela has a 1.9 WAR, and his offense is not great. Not great as being very kind. His offense has been damn near bad, and it's strictly because he's so good at defense. So you're not going to play him in center. Willier is a Gold Glove winning right fielder who's having the best season of his life. He's cooled off. You're not going to play him in right. And Duran is your leadoff hitter. And best player not named Rafi Devers right now. That's healthy. So I honestly don't know where he's going to play. And
And
if you're
all
just
I
going to do the rotate people in for another lefty, then good luck. I hope he has a chance to develop in Alex Cora's wacky, we'll see what you got tomorrow. We'll see who's ready tomorrow type of lineup.
yeah, my only thought on that is I don't give a shit what those three outfielders have been doing because it hasn't worked. If you got a guy that's the number one prospect in all of baseball, and now you've been successfully manipulated his playing time, just stick him in, pick one. And that brings me
Yes.
to, well, it brings me to the whole roster shakeup thing is I think they should trade one of those outfielders to get off Trevor Story's deal to allow Anthony and Mayer to play.
Yeah.
Just
I think
just
that's
they're
going.
all controllable.
I would
Duran's going to get
say, go
to
ahead.
free
Sorry.
agency soon. No, just Duran's going to get to free agency first, but they're all under 30. Abreu and Rafael are well under 30. I just think there's value there. And if you can get someone to take this young, valuable outfielder, but also take Trevor Story in half his contract, you have to do it. The contract is the hard part with Story.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that decision to trade one of those guys would happen closer to the trade deadline and if they really fall out of it. Um, I just don't know. Listen, he could come up and be Bryce Harper, but putting your eggs into the top prospect basket is not like ask the Orioles how that's going with Jackson Holiday right now. Like it's not 100%. And granted, I get what you're saying that this team has proven itself that it's not good enough to win. Um, but you're taking three guys who are actually defined major leaguers in their role, and you're trying to make room for a prospect. I get who is the number one prospect, but he's not. That is not the answer. That's not the answer. There's so many more holes other than the outfield and Roman Anthony to come in here and put all your hopes on a 21-year-old.
But I but so you would just prefer him to stay in minor league baseball?
No, 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 no. I'm just saying that he's not the answer. When he comes up and he doesn't produce or he produces at a high level and they're still a 500 team, it's not going to be like, well, it's Roman Anthony's fault or
No, I
it's
don't.
Roman Anthony's fault that they got it. Listen, I'm saying that if you do that, you need to address other things. They still don't have a first baseman. They barely have a third baseman, and their shortstop sucks.
Uh, Agreed. Um, I
They
think
have three
that if
outfielders.
I think that what you want there, your return has to be a pitcher. I would say I would prefer if you can move one of those guys along with Story, I would hope you get a pitcher back because long term, this season might be whatever it is, but you're getting Bregman back this year. First base, who the hell knows what they're going to do there? But I would like to see them get a pitcher back because this not getting through the fifth inning stuff is getting really old. And
So
I saw
I know we don't
during the
have it on the
Crochet
run.
game yesterday, they said they showed the bet thing, the odds, and one of the props for Crochet was 18 and a half outs. And I was like, holy shit, I never thought of it that way, but they're not getting like 15 outs.
Yep. Yeah. Um, well, that's twofold, right? Sometimes they get shelled, and sometimes Cora takes them out.
Yeah, well, the medical science team decides when they're going to have short outings, even if the bullpen's taxed from a doubleheader, they're going to yank them.
That's dumb.
I know. Oh, we talked about this. Like we life interrupted us recording, and that was a very long text chain about uh, Garrett Crochet getting out. And can we talk since we're on
That's
this?
never, I just want to say before you continue, that is not a thing that happens on successfully run baseball teams. Nobody
Yeah,
worries about load management of a starting pitcher after the bullpen through 7.5 innings. That does not
yeah.
happen.
Honestly,
And
not even the Dodgers.
he was dominating, and he had only thrown 85 pitches.
Yeah, you can get one more inning. Just one.
And
I mean, an
also,
inning.
just to continue with the bullshit on that, they didn't tell Crochet. If it was some manufactured thing, why wouldn't they tell him, hey, you're only going 85 tonight?
Right. And Bayo's had this issue for a while now. He should have stayed in against the Brewers.
Yep.
Just don't. You know what? Just this is a guy you've spent a lot of money on. So look at him and say, we don't care if it's lefty lefty. And I get it. Bernardino in his 100th straight game struck out Yelich. Fine. But just get the out. It's not his fault. Jaron Duran dropped a pop fly.
Yeah. I mean, they did.
I want you to have the faith in your starting pitcher to get that last out in the fifth inning.
So you almost the perfect example, Tom. Brian Bayo's last five outings, all within May, 4.2 innings pitched on May 8th, 4.2 innings pitched on May 13th, 4.1 innings pitched on May 18th, 4 innings pitched on the 23rd, 4.2 on the 28th.
Yeah. I mean, this is a guy I said the last time we recorded like 3 weeks ago. I was like, honestly, I'm getting to the point with him where I'm like, you might not be a guy.
So that's true, but in those 5 games, let me just give you the runs and see if you would
Okay.
have pulled your pitcher. 4.2 innings, 0 runs allowed.
I I I think he's doing well in that situation.
All right, next one, we'll cut this one, 4.2 innings, 2 earned runs.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
I
probably going to let him get that last out.
yeah, just get him through to get through five.
This one is, I think we're on the same page here, 4.17 runs. You're yanking him. Got to get up. Bad outing.
Sure. Sure.
Braves beat him up. 4 innings, 2 runs, 7 strikeouts. So 4 innings, which means he didn't come back out for the fifth, having only given up 2 runs and 7 strikeouts.
Hmm.
I'd probably send him back out for the fifth.
I
Especially that's
mean,
the game. That's the game that turned into the 19-5. They wouldn't have known they were going to score 11 runs in the eighth inning,
right.
or whatever it was. But I'd send him out.
Yeah. One thing we're not looking at there is pitch count though. Um,
Okay.
he he one thing about Bayo,
That was at 87. 87
okay.
pitches.
He'll get 0-2 and it'll be 3-2 and 3 pitches. It's
He
so
likes to pay.
frustrating to watch.
And then the last one, 4.2 innings, 1 earned, 77 pitches.
That was the Brewers. I was
Yeah.
watching that and I'm just like, what are we doing here?
You know who
This
else
is a
was doing
chance for
that?
him to,
Was it Will
huh?
Middlebrooks? I think it was Will Middlebrooks on that call. I don't know who it was, but they were just like, why is he taking him out?
Yeah. Um, since we're talking pitchers and uh, you know, what's going struggling and things like that.
Hey, buddy. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Sorry.
Crochet, Scooble, Hunter Green, Hunter Brown. What do these guys all have in common? A filthy four-seam fastball.
Oh, man.
And in that documentary, Craig Breslow spouted off the stats that people hit against the four-seam fastball. So that's why we're eliminating it. Except the best pitchers are throwing it.
Yeah, he didn't say any of the positive stats about the four-seam fastball. It's also the pitch that people get the most strikes and swings and misses on in baseball still. So, yes,
It's
people hit it hard, but oh, hey, 7-5 now. Um, but yeah, I mean, I disagree with that philosophy of Andrew Bailey and Craig Breslow. I disagree with Alex Cora's philosophy of playing a new guy at a different position every year or every game just because let's see. Um, but yeah, I don't know what else there has to be done. I know this is real negative right now, but every facet of the team is tough to watch. So, with the exception of watching Rafael Devers bat, which has been easily his best season as a professional. Um, he is
I
a
have his May right here.
Go ahead.
It was slashing 356, 468, 606. So
Mm.
that's a 1.074 OPS.
People called for him to be DFA'd after the first 5 games of the year.
Five home
DFA'd.
5 home runs. Or no, 5 doubles, 7 home runs. Um League 33 RBI. He leads the major leagues in RBI. He's still walking at an incredible rate. I don't know why teams are pitching to him.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Without Bregman or anyone around him. Uh, I was, I was watching the other day, and it was the loss. They won the series against the Braves, so that's good. And I was watching Saturday when they were losing, and I was like, I think I know the problem here. They have two good, consistent hitters. One is hurt. They have one good pitcher, and they can't field. The fielding is still an issue.
It's not gonna get better. It's not gonna get better when you have different guys playing a different position every day. It's not gonna get
So
better.
I was thinking, Jack, I mentioned this to you earlier, a package deal. Take a young, good outfielder, but guess what? This is similar on a way lesser degree, but like, hey Dodgers, you want Mookie Betts? You're taking David Price. You're taking him. So that's what you would do here. You want one of our young skilled outfielders. You're taking Trevor Story, and I got to searching. Though the Rockies are the worst. So I don't think they would do this deal because what's the point? I was starting to think contenders. And that every time I tried, it honed me into an AL Central team. So, based off outfielders, Fangraphs WAR, the second worst outfield WAR as a group in Major League Baseball behind the Rockies, Kansas City Royals. Now,
Mm,
they obviously don't need a shortstop
no.
because they have the best shortstop in baseball,
Hmm.
but they do not produce in the outfield.
Yeah, they just brought up their number one prospect though.
He's a first baseman.
He's playing right field. Vinny
Oh, he
Pasquantino is their
is?
first baseman. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know they switched him because when
Yeah,
I looked,
he's been playing right field in the minors.
oh, okay.
Do you know he throws 97
I didn't,
and
but
he's a
Brian
lefty
Saponaro
pitcher?
told me how to spell his name or say his name.
Yeah.
Caglione.
Shows us that.
Left me a voice message, like a text. He
Yeah,
spoke and
voice note.
said,
Yeah.
"Yeah, it's
Good for Sap.
beautiful."
Hey, listen, guys, send in your voice notes. Sure.
Hey
You want to get them?
guys,
Send them to Tom.
shout out to Sap, Italian American night at Fenway. So good for him.
Yeah,
Um,
Maloney's wearing a real, just a beauty of an Italian jersey.
yeah. Did you hear him talking about how he wants to be? He's like, I got to get on that squad. How do I coach first base? He wants to be the first base coach for the
Uh,
WBC Italian
I
squad.
I love it, and I'll campaign for him.
Yes, everything has improved in the broadcast now that it's Merloni most of the time.
Yeah, I'll say that. Although listening to the um radio, I don't know his last name. I want to say Will Fleming. Is that the
Yeah,
tall
Fleming.
guy with the real deep voice?
Yeah, he's the play-by-play guy.
Fantastic.
Yep, yep, yep. I like it.
Fantastic.
I switched over to him, Merloni, and Middlebrooks, the Apple TV night
Yeah.
because they give you that option on Apple. Because you know what? I usually don't get on announcers. Some producer's got to get in Cody Ross, 2013 World Series champ over here in Boston. Love him. But someone's got to get in his ear and say, silence is okay sometimes in a ball game. He was chatty. But anyways, back to the trade. So I guess you take the Royals out, not necessarily Caglione, very much like, the Roman Anthony situation. He's not going to solve all your
I
problems.
don't
He's a
I
rookie.
think just I think you're thinking of David Ross. Cody Ross was not on the
That's what I mean.
2013
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, the Shredder didn't win
Yeah.
on. Yeah, no, it was David Ross. Cody Ross's nickname was the Shredder because
No,
if
that
you hit
was
a
Nick
walk-off
Punto.
homer, he ripped off. That was
That was Nick.
Punto?
Yeah, Nick Punto.
Golly.
Come on,
What the
Tom.
what did David Ross even do?
David Ross was the
Cody Ross.
catcher.
No, what
Cody
did
Ross
Cody
was
Ross
the
even
year
do?
before. He was in 2012.
Do you know what Cody Ross did? He was the first guy I noticed or they ever gave number 5 to, and I
Uh,
was upset. That's why he sticks with me.
yeah, he
But
wore number
anyways,
seven. He wore number 7 on the Red Sox.
I I drank too much in the mid 2010s.
You're having a
Jesus.
tough go with Cody
Well,
Ross
maybe
right
that was it.
now. Trot?
Maybe
You thought
that
it was
was
a
it.
trot thing?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you what, buddy. JD Drew was there wearing number 7 in 2007 too.
Yeah, but JD Drew is at least supposed to be good.
Hit that grand slam, and everybody will tell you he hit that grand slam that made that contract worth it. It didn't.
Um, Sweet Grand Slam though.
That was
Did
great.
Punto wear five?
Yeah.
Ah, that's what it was. Okay. Okay, back to the important stuff. All right. So, okay, I guess we can take
Nick Punto's got a lot of good teams for Immaculate Grid, by the way.
okay. Next up on the outfield is Atlanta, but they got a decent right fielder back, so I think they're out of it. The Guardians, Jack. Second place.
Hmm?
They got Quan out there and left. Big Christmas playing right. I don't know. I don't know. You could put Wilyer Abreu in there and get some slick fielding between Quan and Wilyer.
Well, Tom, I don't know if you've heard. I don't know if you're still on your MLB trade rumors, but the Padres are interested in Jaron Duran. Have shown interest.
I was not on trade rumors at all. Okay, now I'm perking up because you know why? They signed a Red Sox shortstop to a very lucrative contract,
Yeah.
and then they tried to move him second.
Mm-hmm.
So, fellas, do you want Jaron Duran? You're gonna have to take another Red Sox shortstop.
Yeah.
That's okay. Okay, see, okay. Now we're talking. Now we're talking shop, Jack. Where are the Padres? They have Fernando Tatis, so I'm sure they're um I got this in reverse order. They're like 12th in
Looking for
that's
an
just
upgrade in left field.
yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, right now they have Jarks and Profar,
They still
but
have him?
well, he's suspended from PDs, but
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, yeah. So they have the
and now
second worst left
Jason
field
Hay
war.
Yeah, so far they've tried 8 different players in left: Jason Hayward, Oscar Gonzalez, Brandon Lockridge, Gavin Sheets, Terso Ornelius, Tyler Wade, Jose Iglesias, and Connor Joe.
Jose Iglesias is shortstop too. So,
You know what you need. You got to get
y-
something back there.
Jack, okay. Now we're talking. Do you know who you could get back?
Michael King.
Probably not him. I was going to say Cease
I'll take
because I
Dylan
think,
Cease.
yeah, I think they're a little more married to Michael King than they are Cease because Cease was being shopped in the spring. Rumors floated.
Yeah.
Okay, Jack. Oh,
I mean, this
man.
is this is not my rumor. This is obviously MLB trade rumors had
Which
this
is a
morning.
better rumor than us
Which is
throwing
not they
shit at
have
a
they're
wall to see if it'll stick.
way more well sourced than me and you.
San Diego Padres, 11th worst shortstop war. My guy. Love you, Bogarts, but
Yeah.
wow. He's got wrists, weak wrists.
Yeah.
Um, but hey,
What else
2019
was on your
Bogarts.
list?
Ooh. Based off a shortstop war, which is completely even right now, and they're not just a contender; they have the best record in the American League, the Tigers.
Yeah.
But their outfield is pretty set. Their Carpenter is out there, I think. They definitely have Riley Green. I
Tom, you are
think they're
not kidding about Xander Bogaerts at 2019. Good gravy.
oh,
What
Jackie.
what a year.
Oh my God.
I haven't went back and looked at some of these.
Jack,
I don't think this might be
do
my
you want
first
to piss
lurk.
yourself off? Do you want to go to bed angry?
No, don't.
Look at the fact that 2019 Red Sox team didn't make the playoffs and their top four went Betts, Bogarts, or Betts, Devers, Bogarts, JD Martinez, and look at their numbers in 2019. It's
Mm,
absurd.
okay, I will.
Yeah. And you know
Uh,
what? I'm going to tell Christine to stay in the kitchen until you're done. She doesn't need an RKO or something.
oh, good knowledge. Mookie had a
All right.
7.2 WAR in 2019, and then we just traded him.
Yep. Just traded him. Again, we're back. We're playing the hits now. Um, Other
7.2.
so yeah, let's see. Where is this? Oh, this is left field. Okay. Hey, Kansas City Royals, throw your hat in the ring. I talked about it. You have the third worst WAR in left field.
Oh, now
I'm
you got
just
Jaron Duran going there. Yeah, listen, I would say Duran is probably the most attractive to move. Maybe Raphael, I would say, actually. Maybe Raphael.
see see, I don't know. The bat coming along for a Gold Glove winning right fielder?
Yeah, that's true. Willier.
I
He's
mean,
slowing down. He's slowing down quite a bit.
he is, yeah, pretty, but yeah. Um, Here's a little trivia time. This is a fun thing to do every now and then. Without looking, get off your computer.
All right, let me minimize Chrome here. All right.
Who, what team has the fourth worst left fielder WAR, according to Fangraphs?
The fourth worst left fielder WAR. Hmm. I want to say this because you're asking me because you think I think this left fielder is good.
Okay,
Um, I would
dead air.
say the New York Yankees.
No, it is the Dodgers.
Yeah, you know what? I almost said Dodgers first, yeah.
But you just see them low in something and you're like, that just doesn't seem right.
Yeah. Are you sure about that?
Where are they putting Teoscar? Oh, Mookie's in the infield, so Teoscar's in right field.
Oh, there you go.
That okay. And they probably got a little bit of a revolving door, including Kike Hernandez in left field. He pitched with some sort of slow pitch softball helmet on the other night, and I was like, I'm sure in person he is a good guy, but looking at a television screen,
I Tom, I know.
I
I know.
don't know if
I
there's an
know, Tom.
athlete who played on my favorite team who I have liked less.
Only one comes close for me, and but it's real close. But he's the worst, I think. He's my least
Who's your
favorite.
other guy?
Hacksaw Johnny Gomes.
Oh, Jack. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's good. That's a good one. Um,
I've AJ Przinsky has done a lot to rehab his image, but he
mhm.
was he was up there. But I like him. I like AJ Przinsky a lot more than I did.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind Przynski. I think I like when he calls games because
Yeah,
sometimes he's
that's
just
what I
like,
mean.
this doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
And that's what the people want. But
good. He's a good podcaster too.
um, yeah. I've started to notice here I am in my mid 30s, um, barking, knocking on that door for the late 30s. And um I'm watching like I watch sports a lot, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, you know what, Tom, it doesn't leave you. I don't ever want to see Carl Anthony Towns' face again. I don't want to see his reactions. I don't want to see him flex when the game's out of hand and he knocks over Andrew Nebhard. Like it
Well, you don't
doesn't
have
leave
to.
you.
Yeah, you
I
don't have
know you don't have
to.
to because they lost. But don't tell their fans that flooded the street after winning a second round series.
That's
Um
just the best medicine. Oh,
it
take your medicine, the entire city. Just your
oh
second round win is how you're going to celebrate that.
right. I may have in the heat of the moment the other night made a 2024-2025 Knicks made it to the third round banner
Mm,
graphic. I just didn't go through with posting it. We're trying to grow viewers here.
yeah.
So it's on
Uh,
my it's I
just
could share it with you.
just send it to me for a second,
It's
just for a
next
giggle.
and it's hanging next to the 73 World Championship. So
That and a picture of Spike Lee and Chalamet dapping each other up would set me right on a good path.
uh
I'm not typically one of those fans who goes to like, oh, well, I hate that team because they beat my team in the playoffs.
yeah.
However, a
However,
little ridiculous on the celebration city of New York.
also when your two stars are Cat in his face and his reactions and everything, and then Jalen Brunson, do you think he throws his head back if he like bumps into the door jam at home? Because
Yeah, you know,
he's not like Embiid, who's like up faking, diving into guys, or even, the MVP of the league, SGA, you know, trying to get the calls on shots. He's just doing it
yeah, he
he's
does.
doing it off ball.
He does. I will say, watching that series versus the Knicks, he was less foul hunting and just outplaying his matchup. Where watching the Western Conference Finals, SGA is he knows he's going to get the call no matter what he does, and he works to get that call.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no way
Anyways,
that person is more valuable to his team than Nikola Jokic is to the Denver Nuggets.
no. If you're
And
so
in all reality, well, I guess if SGA blew out his Achilles, the or they would go immediately down too, because that kind of proved how valuable Jason Tatum is to the Celtics.
yeah, I've just come to the conclusion that we need to stop kidding ourselves with the name most valuable player because then people want to try and argue a value. But
Sure.
if you're going to do the value argument, Jokic should have won 5 in a row.
Yeah.
It should just be most outstanding player. That's what we call it. There you go.
Player
Case
of the
closed.
year. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, player of
Right.
the year, whatever. Anyways, back to
Didn't even
baseball.
have basketball on the rundown.
But we went down a rabbit hole of people we didn't like. And that, you know what? Listeners like that. Tim gets on this thing and just says, I hate this guy.
I
And
know.
I'm like, yeah, they have an annoying affect, I, but it doesn't leave you. It's there. And it
I
bothers
got
me
it.
that I don't hate Aaron Judge. I feel like I should, but he's
I'm not.
awesome.
I was just gonna say another Aaron that I mean I can't ever root for him is the Aaron Boone. I mean, and that's something he didn't do anything to me. He's never done anything to me.
No, he did.
I mean,
Jack, we were
in
17
reality,
and 15 when he did what he did to us. We were boys.
He did what he did to us.
We weren't even adults yet.
you know what he did. You say his name.
Uh, yeah. And now it's even worse because he's the manager. That's what it is. It's the team itself is focused on the manager. It's like
Mhm.
last year, I love Juan Soto. He was a Yankee, and I was like, God, I hate this, but
Yeah.
I don't hate him.
Oh, I know. It was
Um,
watching. That was a big one on flipping over in time to see Soto and then Judge bat, and you were just thinking like, "What am I doing?
yeah,
Why
why
am
do
I
I like
rooting for
this?
this to be positive?"
Uh, so yeah, I guess you throwing out that Padres thing has got I my thing to tie a bow on all this. My thing is I am not going to be upset if they trade one of the outfielders because it hasn't worked for the last 3 years.
I agree with you. I think at this point, the only two players on your team, and I know that I'm going to say this because Bregman is hurt and he doesn't count. The only two players on the team that you cannot trade right now are Garrett Crochet and Rafael Devers. Everybody
That's it.
else should be, well, Mayor.
Other than the big three, I wouldn't trade Campbell.
Oh no. You're right. Mayor Campbell and Anthony. I mean, every other guy should
If
have
you've
the have
had
a bag
everyone else
packed.
that has a year of major league service time,
Yeah. I mean, you can trade Nick Sogard. I mean, like, you know what I mean? The
sure.
big three, you should
Yeah.
not trade the big three until you know exactly what they are.
But you're saying
And
the
that
staples
could be too
to
late.
the
Your
staples to
Jaron
like
Duran's, your all-star Jaron Duran is not as untouchable as you clearly think he is, or people clearly think he is. And Willie Abreu, who would seem, and Rafaela too, two really good young defending outfielders in a tough outfield to play. Um,
yeah,
but like, I don't know. If I had my pick, I mean, I'd like to keep Willier and Rafaela.
just for
I
their
mean,
defense because the team's
yeah,
defense is so
exactly.
bad.
But then Duran's speed is game changing, and it's tough. It's a tough move. But
Yeah.
If Roman Anthony is as good as everybody says, you have to make room for him.
You
And right
just
now
have
there
to.
is no room.
And a struggling to reach 500 or staying around 500 team that has Anthony Mayer and Campbell in the lineup is something that's more worth watching than Story,
Way
Sogard,
more.
and the three outfielders they have now.
If three of your top six hitters are those three guys towards the end of the season and they're 3 games under 500, it's a totally different narrative, especially with Garrett Crochet. And if you get, if you make a move for a pitcher and then you're going into 2026, like, okay, this is a real deal now instead of the sack of potatoes we were sold.
Yeah. Um, just quickly around the league a little bit.
Let me give you two around the leagues that me and you text
Okay.
about that I just want to not miss.
Okay.
If anybody really likes baseball,
hmm
do whatever you can
If they've
the
lasted
next
this long, they
time
probably do.
the next time Tarek Skubal is pitching, go watch it.
Yeah.
He is by far the
Probably
best
find it
pitcher
on
in baseball this year.
crack streams or
And
meth streams.
it is it is fun to watch. The other day he threw a perfect game where his final pitch was 103, or I'm sorry, a complete
It
game,
wasn't a
a
perfect game.
Maddox. He threw a Maddox, a complete game under 100 pitches, with his last pitch being 103 miles an hour for
hmm
what was his 14th or 13th strikeout.
13th strikeout. Yeah.
Goodness gracious. And that is pretty consistent with every time he toes the rubber.
Yep. What
And
was the
then
other one, bud?
second, the other one is we texted about it. I don't know how it happened so fast, but Shohei Ohtani is just leading the league in home runs again at 21. And it happened that when I heard it was 20, you and I had a similar reaction where it's like, wait, already?
Yeah.
Like Judge and Cal Raleigh were leading him by like a handful. And then the next thing I heard is Ohtani leads the league with 20 homers. And he hit another one over the weekend as they just decimated the Yankees. They really showed who the class of baseball is.
Yeah. Then some injury stuff. Mookie fractured a toe, stubbing it at home. That stinks, but I don't know. They haven't announced an IL stint. It's probably a pain management thing because it's a fractured toe. Uh, Corbin Burns threw a pitch yesterday,
Yeah, it
turned around,
sucked.
waved his glove to the dugout, turned around, yelled "fuck." That means that he'll be seeing Dr. Neil at Attatash at
Mm,
Alterat. What's his name?
I don't
The
know.
the Tommy John guy. Um, but Jack, hold that football, baby. I'm come running. I'm kicking it. Mike Trout is back, and
He did
since
just
coming
get, he
back,
went super deep off Dick
he's
Fitz tonight.
before we started recording. At the time, he was 7 for 12 since coming back, and he hit one so far at Fenway tonight that you'll see the replay. It's obnoxious. It went
It's like over the
454
score.
feet.
It's like over the scoreboard where they show the pitches, like where
Yeah.
the pit. Yeah, it's a bomb to like they call it left center field, but it is center. It is unmistakably center field.
Yeah, and we are now allowed, Jack. We're past Memorial Day. We're allowed to look at the standings.
Yep. Tom,
Yankees.
great point. Because most of the fire Cora and this team sucks and they're not going anywhere. It's still not a third through the season, but once you get past that Memorial Day, now it's like, what are we
Yeah.
doing? It's like the fourth year in a row that we've watched Cora kind of shit the bed as a manager.
I don't know if it was Pete Abe or Chad Finn. Someone on the Globe had an article that just said it's not early anymore. And it's fact.
Yep.
It's not. You're in June. There's a lot of season left, but now you're kind of like we are what we are. Um, just two cleanup things I wanted to say. You were saying the trading thing, and you were like, you're not going to put Bregman on there because of the injury. I think Bregman's opting out if he comes back and
Oh,
continues to hit like he
100%.
was,
Yeah,
which
100%.
now a hole is there at third base.
Yeah, he's gonna opt out.
So, because he has an opt-out after this year, next year, and then his contract would be up. But
Yeah.
if he continues like this, he will get a bigger contract. These deals have been happening a lot. And, you start to worry, is that going to hamstring them if they're like, well, we have to sign Bregman back. And you're now instead of
Yeah.
20 million a year, it's something like 35 million a year for like
And
5
Tom, to answer
years.
your question, what you just asked, yes, because then they'll say, well, we signed Bregman back. We don't need to put anybody else there.
Yeah, true.
And then we have Mayer and
Uh,
Campbell.
And Casas.
and then just, Jack, I would encourage you to peep Jackson Holiday's year. He's actually having a good year.
I know, but the Orioles aren't.
No, the Orioles aren't.
So that's what I mean. That the overarching point is your number one prospect isn't your savior necessarily.
Right.
I mean, Jackson Holiday got promoted to a playoff team.
Yeah.
Like it didn't do anything.
But yeah, that goes to a thing that all fans have to realize that if you have a guy that's just an owner that's just decided he's not going to spend money,
That's it.
it's just
You better get
gotta
lucky.
live with it because you had stars upon stars breaking through for the Orioles, and they just decided, yeah, we'll sign Charlie Martin. He's like 42. He throws a curveball instead of any other pitcher.
Yeah.
And now they're in last place. They're behind the Red Sox that we've been
Ask Brandon
opining
Hyde
this
how he
entire
feels about
episode.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
you texted me that like Brandon Hyde got fired because the Orioles didn't sign a single free agent pitcher and let Corbin Burns walk.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And then we're gonna wrap this up on a different note, Jack. I have been profoundly adamant about two sporting events where I usually am nervous, as I'm more of a nervous, yeah, but this could happen, watcher and predictor. I don't love making predictions. I'm not a bold guy in that sense. But the two times I was convinced my favorite teams were going to win were Super Bowl 42 and this last Celtics series against the Knicks. And both of those blew up horribly in my face. So when I hear that people are saying the Patriots might win 10 to 11 games,
Yeah,
I
boy.
say, let's hold the phone here.
Hold
I
the
like-
horses, hold the phone, hold the line, whatever we need to do,
Just hold
on.
it. And tightly, not 38 special. We're not holding on loosely. Okay? Hold it tight. I just don't know how they're going to go from 3 wins to 11. I know the schedule looks easy, but you
Famous
can't
last
schedule
words.
wins.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm already excited for Tim going through the schedule in August.
I actually want to
That's
be on.
a win.
I want him to play the win-loss game with me on, please. Because I feel like he'll put him at like 11 or 12. And first off, they won 4. So let's say they won 4 last year. Let's say they go to 10. Do you know how hard and how rare it is that NFL football teams win 6 more games than they did the previous year? It's like impossible. The Commanders did it, but I mean, the Commanders just got the right guy at the right time, I think. It'll be tough if they do what they did again, like in that division. But back to the Patriots, the amount of Kool-Aid that is being drank because Mike Vrabel overpaid for some defensive linemen, like, look out, guys, because Stephon Diggs, captain of the boat, he's into some trouble. I think it's all bullshit. But the NFL takes that stuff a lot more. The NFL takes it a lot more serious than I do.
Stephon Diggs, first of all, let me jump in here. That was pink Himalayan salt to add to his water for extra hydration.
Right.
I'm not going to speculate.
Hey, we can throw out wild theories.
Sure. But anyways, the offensive line is better.
Yeah, it's got to be. It has to be.
It has to be. Will Campbell's there. Let's hope he stays healthy. Something that happens a lot in football that nobody seems to be talking about is injuries. And if one of those guys that you signed gets injured, you're right back to the team you had last year, which again, Drake May should be better. The offense as a whole, I've heard that Josh McDaniels is a great coordinator. Um,
Just not
I
a
think
head
he is.
coach.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think he's a great coordinator when Tom Brady is his assistant offensive coordinator. So,
And
I think
throwing the
there's
ball.
something to be seen there. Uh, again, I just think that everybody needs to wait. This was a team that won 4 games, 2 seasons in a row, and is on their third head coach in as many seasons.
Yeah.
So let's pump the brakes on the Patriots winning 10. You know what would be great? If they
8.
win 7. Even if they
Yeah.
win 7. And
I
Drake
mean,
May has an up year? Get out of here.
yeah. Because, yeah, I mean, regardless of whatever happens to Diggs, but there's still those same wide receivers around him. I know they signed Matt
They had a great
Collins.
draft.
They had a great draft, and I think people are overblowing the draft that they had, the free agents that they signed. And again, it's just football is the most we'll find out on Sunday or we'll find out on game day type of sport there is.
Um, Obviously, Will Campbell is like the most important guy they drafted. I'm very excited to see what the running back from Ohio State's like
Yeah.
because
Kyle Williams, the wideout they drafted is a lot of people that I listen to and podcasters like they say like this was my favorite pick of the draft. This was the best wideout past Travis Hunter and Tet McMillan.
yeah, I just think Ohio State's just full of athletes, and you kind of see the quarterbacks from Ohio State don't really pan out much. It's very similar to quarterbacks out of Alabama. It's like they just have athletes around them, so I'm excited to see what happens there. But I completely agree. Can we take
Travion
a step
Henderson,
and get to
the guy
7
we're
or 8
talking about.
wins before we start talking about challenging the Bills?
8 wins would be great because 8 wins, you're in the mix for like the final playoff, and that would
Yeah,
be
the 7th
fun to
spot.
watch down the stretch.
Sure.
But to go in thinking that you're gonna get 10 wins just because it's just ridiculous. Just because it's not Gerard Mayo, like I don't know. I mean, Vrabel is good. Vrabel is a better coach than Gerard Mayo is, but there's still so many question marks. Like the thing that worries me more than anything is Vrabel did not draft Drake May. And coaches, especially defensive coaches, aren't the best in fostering young quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think I have hope that he is going to be like, I will make decisions on 4th downs and things like that. But McDaniels, go ahead and fly with this guy.
Let's hope. Let's hope
That's
because
what I
that's
mean. That's what I hope. I hope he has his fingerprints on the defense, but at the same time, get in there, get your hands on him like he likes to do. But I hope he's just like, here's some advice for the offense, but you know,
yeah. No, I hear what you're saying, but that would be my biggest concern. And again, I just talk about you need to see it. I mean, they have 8 wins over 2 years.
yeah.
Plussing them up to 10 wins just all of a sudden is the exact kind of thinking that's going to get everybody to say Vrabel should be fired when they're 2-2.
Has anyone ever had a 5-person pod? Because
I mean,
if training camp starts and the Steelers sign Aaron Rodgers, we got to get George and Anth back on here.
I talk to every time I see them, I ask them what do they think of this, quarterbackless strategy that the Steelers are trying to pull. And I tell you, man, the amount of times Mason Rudolph's name comes up, it sounds like a real cope. There's somebody's huffing some copium.
out in
Yeah.
Northeast Pennsylvania because I don't know what the fuck or Northwest Pennsylvania because I just don't know. I don't know, Tom. I am losing so much respect for Mike Tomlin every single day that he allows Aaron Rodgers to basically just walk all over him and be like, "Yeah, if I decide to play, I'll be there."
Going back to the guys I'm not really a fan of. All right, Jack. So, you know, we're gonna try and we're gonna get back on a regular schedule here. It is the summer. We do have other jobs, but listen, we're back on our old podcasting site, Buzzsprout. Shout out to Buzzsprout. Because they're gonna count everyone that listens to this podcast, which the last one did not. They only allowed it, they only gave you listens if you listened on their service, which it was free, but I'm thinking we might have been out of a couple pennies here and there. Uh, so
We need room to
we're
grow.
gonna be back. Um, we're gonna let neverwords.com that it is what it is now run its course, and then I have a Substack, and we'll be writing and posting things there, and we're gonna probably get our screen presence or our social media presence up. So, we wanna. I find myself just looking at this stuff so much. I wish I would get paid for it because of how much time I spend on it.
Yeah, I also spend a ridiculous amount of time on Baseball Reference. So
So,
if that could
well,
just be my
just do it for
job.
us, people. Just do it for us, folks. Please. We're
I'll
begging.
tell you what, we'll keep producing content, I'd love to
Yeah.
get a baseball interview on the show. A guy talking about baseball, that'd be great. Guy,
Yeah, I'll
gal, anybody familiar with baseball? Come on with it.
All right, Jack, I'll talk to you. Maybe we'll just jump back on Friday. We'll see.
Let's do it. Bye-bye.